Hey, good kind of people, what is going on? You're checking out new RCWR show Wednesday, July 14th, 2021. What is going on with you guys? Man, here we go. Wednesday, hump week. Womp, womp. Oh, so glad that we got to this point. I'm telling you. I hope you guys are doing your best to stay hydrated out there. You're taking it easy. Hopefully you're looking out for your neighbors, particularly those that are up there in age, the elderly, making sure that they're good to go and everything. I know that in some cities, there's actually been cases where apartment complexes have been evacuated because there's been problems with the elevator, which is really bad because when you have temperatures as high as it's getting, particularly on the East Coast, that's not good. That's not good, especially if you're living in a high rise and you don't have no elevator. And then heaven forbid, something goes down with your AC. I know over here in the DMV, we actually had a couple of apartment complexes that went out because of those issues. And luckily it got resolved in about a day or two. But man, just for people that have to relocate temporarily like that. So yeah, definitely make sure you're doing your best to check on your fellow man, woman, making sure they're okay, especially those that's up there in age. Just saw Fyter Fest go off the air from AEW Dynamite. Pretty damn solid main event match. Darby Allin taking on Ethan Page. Nice match. Nice main event match. Great way to close out night one of Fyter Fest. Also last night, NXT, Samoa Joe being the special guest referee and enforcer as well for that NXT championship match between Johnny Gargano and Karrion Kross. Whole lot of shaking went down in that one. So yeah, this is going to be a nice tight show that we're going to do for you guys, because we're actually going to be coming right back Friday night after SmackDown goes off the air. We'll definitely look at the Money in the Bank card. We'll also look at the predictions for that as well. We'll also look at the Slammiversary card as well. Now we'll go over those respective cards tonight as far as what's going to be going down, but we'll give the final update with the predictions on Friday's show. It makes a lot of sense to do that. We'd also talk about SmackDown as well. So yeah, we'll also mix in on tonight's show. We'll also mix in a little bit of talk of some Impact Wrestling, some Ring of Honor as well, man. So we got a nice loaded up show for you guys. So yeah, I guess we can really just start off high with the Fyter Fest from AEW. That'd be a cool name though. Fyter 1. Fight! I got Street Fighter on the mind. Don't pay me no mind. Great night one of AEW Dynamite Fyter Fest. Very, very solid. Again, I cannot sing enough praises for that main event match. I know we're gonna kind of go a little bit all over the place. I'm probably kind of going a little bit out of order from some folks, but no, I'm telling you, that damn Darby Allin, that kid is really fucking growing on me. And one of the things that I loved about Ethan Page and Darby Allin was the fact that when Ethan was making his entrance, he wasn't doing any of the usual silliness that he likes to do, lollygagging, showboating, playing up to the crowd. He wasn't doing any of that. He came out there with a very serious demeanor. He was going into this in character, really taking this match very seriously, and I love that. Ethan Page has so much great range as a on-screen character. It's not even funny, and I'm just really I know I've been singing his praises off and on these past couple of weeks, but I cannot stop singing the praises of one Ethan Page without a shadow of doubt. And I really hope that Tony Khan and crew, I really hope that the politics, if there's any, I really hope that it's loosened up quite a bit and they really know what they got on their hands there, because he can definitely be a future Impact player for them in the months to come, in the years to come. You can definitely, I see no reason why under the AEW umbrella, why Ethan Page would not become a World Heavyweight Champion. I mean, he's got everything. He's got all the tools. He's got everything at his fucking disposal, man. And this feud between him and Darby Allin and what they've been able to do these past couple of weeks, they've really brought out the best in each other as far as I'm concerned. They really, really have complemented each other extremely well. If I had only one gripe in regards to this match, it would be that it was just kind of short. It really was, because I remember when the match had finally began, and I was going a little bit back and forth between this and the NBA Finals, but I remember seeing when the match had finally started, they were going with the introductions and everything, and you're looking at the timestamp, you're going, yeah, there's about to be a commercial break. They'll probably do a picture-in-picture, but then when we come back from the commercial breaks, really not that much time left. So we were lucky once you put the entrances to the side. We were lucky if maybe it was about 12 minutes. We were lucky if it was maybe 12 minutes, even at that. But just what I saw from both men tonight definitely lived up to the rivalry, lived up to the hype, delivered, worthy of being in the main event spot as far as I was concerned. Darby Allin going over, I think that was the right move. I think the right move was made because, remember, you've just been following this particular story arc with Scorpio Sky, Paige, Sting, Darby. This has been going on for, a couple of months now and everything. So for everything to come ahead the way that it did tonight, by the way, I like how we had Sting incorporated in there, because Scorpio Sky thought maybe he was going to be able to loan his boy Paige an assist there. And Sting balancing out the odds early on, and they pretty much were fighting outside the arena and everything. By the way, great crowd. That was a fantastic crowd, really bringing the energy. They're out there in Texas. They're going to be in Texas for this week and then for next week's Fyter Fest as well, because we're going to be getting 2 nights of Fyter Fest. So that crowd, fucking solid. I loved it. I freaking loved it. It's so great to see the fans back in attendance at some of these wrestling events, man. I'm really, really loving it. And it seemed to be a pretty packed house for where AEW was tonight. I'll have more information as far as what venue that was, and by then I should have a better idea what was going on with the seating capacity and everything, because I'm most curious. But they did a few panouts, not for nothing. AEW did quite a few panouts and a lot of people in attendance. Now, if you're a WWE fan, you probably saw, depending on your neck of the woods, that some more dates had got announced. If you are linked up to Ticketmaster, if you've ever at some point went to a wrestling event and you got your tickets through Ticketmaster, then earlier today, for example, that's if you're in the DMV, you had got a Ticketmaster notification letting you know about a WWE pre-sale that was going on, giving you the special code as WWE is going to be making their return to the Capital One Arena on September, I believe it's September the 11th, and it's going to be a super show that they're going to be doing. So you're looking at that and you're going, okay, so, doubt that they're going to tape Raw or SmackDown that weekend. So it's kind of, okay, do you want to go? Or let me tell you something, not for nothing. I looked at the tickets and price wise, pretty damn good for what I saw. And they were disappearing quick, let me tell you. They were disappearing real quick. You're going in the Ticketmaster and you're like, for example, I saw one seat, and I was just looking just to get an idea what the prices were, but there was one seat, section A, I think it was section A, row 100, like A section, A row basically. You were pretty close to the ring, and they had only wanted basically somewhere between $80 to $115. You're going, okay, for one, that's a pretty good deal. Okay. And if you didn't go on ahead and get that ticket as soon as you backed out and you were like, nah, let me go to a different section instead, you tried to come back, that same ticket that you were looking at, and it was just going like that, like mad freaking crazy. So yeah, believe it or not, guys, and look, not for nothing, but I know some people are still a little bit concerned about what's going on with the pandemic and everything. Look, this is going to linger for a couple of years. It's not going to go away totally, but it will get down to a point where probably I would say maybe there'll be 5% of folks that have gone unvaccinated at most. So you might hear of rare occurrences tied to those that have not been vaccinated. Not to bore you guys with stats, but there was one stat I remember hearing about last week where I don't know if it was the CDC, if it was NIH, but there was some statistic that was put out there where basically all the people that have been dying from COVID-related symptoms, it was like in the high 90s, the percentage that folks were not vaccinated. Like they didn't even get one shot. And you're just going, whoa, what the hell? I remember when I was watching it, wifey was watching it with me. So, but, you know, tied back to going back to wrestling venues and all that again. Like I said, you know, this pandemic, this corona, this is gonna last with us for a couple of years. It'll go down. Like I said, numbers, it was gonna go down even more. But, you know, you got to be smart. You just got to be smart. Even when you go to these events. Now, look, you guys, I saw Dynamite tonight. You probably saw what I saw, that there were a lot of people that were not wearing a mask. And honestly, I would legit like to believe that the majority of those people that were there in attendance, they got at least both of their shots, or they got at least one shot. And no mask. So, you know, I know one thing the CDC said, you know, they're kind of flip-flopping there, right? Let's be honest. They're kind of flip-flopping. 1 minute, you got the CDC saying, you know, hey, when you're going to big events like a sporting event, or wear a mask. And now they're saying, well, if you've gotten both shots, yeah, you're actually okay. Go ahead and wear a mask, but make sure you still have your mask when you're using public transportation. Now, riddle me this. What's the difference between going to an arena and then going to use public transportation? I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but, you know, my mindset is, okay, you tell me I need a mask over here, but I don't need a mask over here. What's the big difference here? And, you know, it's amazing. We watch the news. We get our news from whatever respected outlet. That's one particular question I've yet to hear answered. So if you're asking me straight up, you know, Lee, I'm looking at these wrestling events, man. I'm kind of getting the itch. I'm thinking about going to these events. What do I do? I'm a little bit intimidated, though, because of what's going on still with this pandemic. What would you recommend? What would you do? What would you say I do? I would say to you, look, as long as you got both of your shots or a shot, you're not that far away from taking your next shot, I say go on ahead, take the proper precautions, enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself. You're going to go to some type of a big public gathering, sporting event or whatever, wear the mask. Obviously, when you're eating and drinking, okay, you got to do what you got to do. But honestly, for the most part, just go on ahead. Unless you're taking pictures of you and the family, you and the missus, spouse or whatever, or you're able to get it in a picture with your favorite superstar or whatever, I recommend you just do what you gotta do, put your mask on, and just kick back, enjoy the show. Better to be safe than sorry. I always say. Beautiful sight, though, seeing the fans in attendance tonight. Raucous energy. Was loving it from them, man. Good fucking shit right there. Aleister Black, Malachi Black, Tommy in the house yet again, following up from such a epic debut on AEW last week. I loved what he did this week. You got that white hot Cody Rhodes that came on out wearing all white. All right, so I like how we're setting the tone right there as far as, okay, good Cody Rhodes, evil Malachi Black. I love how we had that nice balance going on there. And Cody Rhodes coming out, you know, but is it really as that defined? Is it just based on what we saw tonight? Is it really that defined? Because you could probably make an argument, despite the fact that Cody Rhodes is the good guy and all that, you actually might be able to make a really good argument that no, he's actually the same Cody Rhodes that'll stab a mofo in the back, doesn't care about the fans, just cares about the ends justifying the means to put himself over. You could make that argument. And then is actually, when you look at Malachi Black, is he essentially the amplifier? Is he essentially the purifier that comes in and pretty much, no, let me really just take this off the canvas and really show you what's going on here at its core? Kind of something to think about there. But that was pretty solid with Cody Rhodes and Malachi Black, their exchange for this week. I loved Cody Rhodes coming out there white hot, just mouthing off, pissed off at how Black just came at him last week, wanting him to square up, do it face to face. And then to see Malachi Black appear on the Titantron there and cutting that promo, man, I was just hanging on every single word that this guy was putting out there. And I love the fact that the crowd wasn't going, what? Or cheering, some other non-cynical BS that has nothing to do with what they're watching on the Titantron. They were pretty quiet. They were hanging off of the words of Malachi Black, and he told this great story. So memorable. I mean, it leaves such an impression. It really, really does. And, it's amazing because when you think about his time in the WWE, you go, yeah, pretty good promos. Yeah, he was a pretty good talker, but the shit that he was doing towards the end, that was the stuff that was, oh, this is nice. This is nice what's going on. But prior to that, you're just, if you were to say to me, nah, I can't really remember any particular promo from Aleister Black in the WWE, like prior to his exit. Like, I can't really, most likely nobody can really, right? And that was because some of his shit was so heavily produced. But this one, very loose. Very, very fucking loose. It just really, and I wouldn't be surprised if Malachi Black were to say on his next Twitch stream or whatever that, everything that we heard of him tonight, that pretty much came from the top of his head. He took it to Cody and Khan, got their stamp of approval, and pretty much the rest is history. Well, for him to go out there and tell that story about the horse winning all the titles left and right, and eventually the horse gets up there in age, and its owner, I mean, all of that. I mean, man, it's got so many. You can either go the biblical route with that. You can definitely go the sacrificial route. You can go the evolution route. I mean, you got so many avenues you can go with that, but it just all intertwines so brilliantly with the feud that's going on between Black and Cody. Good fucking shit. Really setting the tone. And then for the lights to go out, come back on, Black is there in the arena. He's there in the middle of the ring with Cody. They sizing each other up. Wham! They just brawling, and then, nice pull apart. Good shit. Good fucking shit right there. That is being handled so far so solid. Now, I can't remember specifically where I heard this from. I really can't remember, because if I could remember, I would definitely mention the name. But I remember hearing from a couple of folks about, look, obviously a lot of people are concerned about this particular feud that Cody is having with Aleister Black. There's a lot of people that's very, very concerned about this, because from what their eyes have been telling them, since they've been paying attention to the AEW product so far, is that you have had individuals that's come in that you as an AEW fan go, oh man, I got a lot of high expectations for this person. Oh man, this guy is definitely gonna fucking soar to the moon. And then once they cross paths with Cody, it's pretty much, all right, sacrificial lamb, and doesn't really go anywhere. And next thing you know, Cody keeps doing his thing, but that other talent that was being so properly built up, they're not quite the same after coming across Cody. Now, you can make two exceptions to that rule. I personally feel so far up to this point, I feel that as far as, okay, who post Cody continued to build, two guys come to mind right now: the Murder Hawk Monster Lance Archer and the late Brody Lee. Those are the two that come to my mind off the break. If you want to maybe put another name out there, you can throw it up in the chat, and I'll tell you honestly whether or not I think, yeah or nay. But we've seen so many people essentially that have been fed to Cody. There's nothing wrong with people that are having trepidations about, honestly, if they're guilty of anything, they just want to see Black have the true success that they feel he deserves. You're talking about people that have been following his career on the independents. You're definitely talking about people that have followed his career passionately in the WWE, knew of what he was capable of, knew of his potential, and felt that he was being poorly mistreated and underutilized, and they just want for him, with this fresh start that he has with AEW, to really go without a hitch. So, and I can't help but stress that, because I saw that there were some people that were taking little shots, subtle shots at fans that had that mentality of being concerned about Cody and everything. And, for people to just dismiss that, make it come off laughable, what the fans are very concerned about, it's like, no, you should really take that for granted, what's going on, because, maybe they're telling you something that's never really crossed your mind, that's never really made you take a step back and say, okay, well, wait a minute here. Yeah, let me see what's going on exactly here with all the feuds that one Cody Rhodes has been having so far here. And, maybe they're kind of making a very valid point, why they're so concerned and all that. It's like they just want the very best. Now, look, as I said from last week, you can either go two ways. You need to go two ways with this Black Rhodes feud. You can either go the 3 encounter route. You definitely give Black the first one, give Cody the second one, go to that third one. That's Black. Game over. Both men move on. And if you want to maybe circle back several months later with those two, hell, go ahead. Have at it. Go ahead. You can go that route. Or if you want to pull a first, and I'm really preferring the latter right here, if you really want to go for a first, then I personally would love to see Black do a clean sweep. I would love to see Black do a clean sweep on Cody Rhodes. And I would just love for that to really eat at the psyche of Cody Rhodes. That really shakes up his character. I would love to see that, especially if a scenario could come about where, as a result of losing those multiple times to Black, that forces Cody on screen character-wise to disappear for a couple of months. And then maybe when he resurfaces again, you just hold off for an extended period of time. Hold it off. Let Cody Rhodes come back and he's doing with other people, but eventually everything comes full circle maybe one more time with Black, and really depending on how you've built this guy up in Black, you know, if he's got a TNT championship or he's got the world championship. You feel where I'm coming from? Now, I know we got that thing that's going around about Cody and, oh, well, you know, you got that stipulation that's in play where, you know, he can never challenge for the world title. Trust me. Sooner rather than later, they're going to break that glass and they're going to pull that lever on that Cody Rhodes championship run. Make no mistake about that. That's going to happen. If you were to ask me to put out there a bold prediction for you guys when I think that could possibly happen, definitely not for 2021, not for the remaining of 2021, but definitely I will make a bold prediction. Cody Rhodes should be a AEW World Heavyweight Champion before or by end of summer into fall 2022. That's my bold prediction. If we're fast forwarding and Cody hasn't by then, I don't know. We'll have to have a different conversation. We'll have to have a different conversation and go, you know, what's going on right here. But yeah, that's how I'm feeling. That's how I'm feeling about that. So, but yeah, that really took me back, seeing a few people that were kind of heckling those that legit had concern about this feud with Black and Cody. And, you know, look, I'm enjoying it. I'm just like you guys. I'm enjoying it for what it's worth. I'm sitting back and I'm enjoying the ride. But I'm like you guys as well. There is that thought that I have in my head where I'm going, all right, man, let's just really hoping that this goes in the right direction, because you got something special here with this guy. And that's just the main point. We all can be in agreement. You do this guy right, you got something special in your hands right here. You know, we can definitely build off of this. So, see, what else had happened on Dynamite tonight? Oh, yeah, there was that FTW championship match between Ricky Starks, Brian Cage. I'm not really feeling the psychology that was going on in this one. Let me explain. So Ricky Starks has been doing these little cheap shots and utter bullshit to Cage off and on in recent weeks. He's been doing a lot of poking of the bear and everything. And what doesn't make sense to me whatsoever is seeing this small, petite Ricky Starks come out. Look, I'm not making fun of the guy's size or anything, but just feel me on this. We got this small, petite guy and Ricky Starks. And we got this behemoth of a man, Brian Cage, and you're just going, shit, little man about to get destroyed. So, to see these men respectfully come out and make their own entrances, that was just, yeah, what's going on there? What's going on? I mean, that was a serious head scratcher there. A serious head scratcher there. By the way, I have forgot to hit my record button here. So I know we got the web stream live in progress right now, but let me just, boom, there we go. Got that recorder going now. But yeah, that was just so crazy to see both men come out. I thought for sure that Ricky Starks was maybe going to come out from behind as Cage was making his entrance, pull a Tanya Harding or some shit and just go in with a steel pipe or whatever. I thought, to the kneecap or whatever. And I thought for sure we were going to go in that direction, but we didn't. And that was just so kind of head scratching. And the fact that we had Brian Cage, look, I think we can be in agreement here if you guys really feel where I'm coming from. The psychology going into this match was totally way off. It did not, in my estimation at least, it did not match up to what we've been seeing of Ricky Starks off and on these past several weeks. Every single time Brian Cage has been trying to get his hands on that little guy, little man been hauling ass. So, to see how they both just came out making their own respected entrances, nah, man, nah, not cool whatsoever. As far as I was concerned, hell, you could have even had Brian Cage just flinging out Ricky Starks. Because, nowadays you have the baby faces, they're doing their entrances, and then you've got the heels, they're doing their entrances. You could have easily just, okay, we got the music of Ricky Starks playing, but we don't see no Ricky. What's going on with Lil Ricky? Lil Ricky, where's Lil Ricky? God, it's so funny how I just stumbled upon that name too. Little Ricky. That's his new name from now on. Little Ricky. Lil Ricky until further notice. His name is Little Ricky, and he should be very, very humbled by that, because I'm linking that to one of my favorite TV classic shows of all time, and I Love Lucy. So Little Ricky. Yeah, it's like, where's Little Ricky? And then Little Ricky you just see his ass just getting tossed out there onto the ramp. He's taking an ass kicking at the hands of Brian Cage. You could have easily just, you feel where I'm coming from? So just the psychology before the bell even rings, way off. And then to basically have Ricky Starks build him up so much that we're trying to put him at the same level physically as Brian Cage. That for me was just very comical. It was very, very comical. I had a hard time getting into this just based off of everything that I was seeing. Now, again, you could have went with a scenario where Brian Cage, and it's just so frustrating when you see big guys like Brian Cage. Look, I appreciate the fact that what this guy does in the ring, how versatile he is and everything. Man, I love Brian Cage, and I think anybody that's been a long-time listener knows how much of a fan I am for Brian Cage. Whatever that respected match calls for, and his opponent, Brian Cage can essentially match them. But see, that's the problem. That's the problem right there. Yeah, I wish that there could be times where we could just get a Brian Cage with his look and everything that can just pretty much go in there and just pull a Lesnar, pull a Dave Bautista, and just fuck somebody up. You don't have to do all the flashing insecurities and brainbuster DDT and do your fucking flips, and you don't have to do any of that shit. Sometimes, just depending on who the opponent is, you should be able to just. So for me, seeing this particular match, no, this should have been a case of Brian Cage using his strength on his opponent and just mopping the floor with this guy until finally something comes about where maybe ref gets distracted. Starks use a dirty tactic. Who knows? Maybe he's got like some knuckles that's in his trunks. He pulls them out, cold clocks Cage in the face, and then pretty much from that point on, he's got the advantage and he's pretty much sticking it to Cage. There definitely should have been instances just like that. I remember there was one spot during this match where something happens where Cage runs into the corner post. Starks gets out of the ring, takes one of the arms of Cage, and he's just, and I'm thinking to myself, well, wait a minute here. That really doesn't make any sense psychology-wise, because, and again, this is all in real time. I hope you guys know this is all in real time. If you've noticed, I have not looked down in any type of way. Usually when I do these shows, majority of these shows, there's no notes. There's no notes. Maybe there's something I need to, of a bullet point that's maybe on my computer, on my notepad that I'll go with. But everything, if you really take anything away from what I'm talking about so far about Fyter Fest tonight, home in on the fact that, I don't have any notes here. So this is all not only from the top of my head, I'm telling you guys what I'm experiencing in real time. Just boom, not overanalyzing, just boom, whatever is coming to my mind. It's really from the heart. So to see Starks grab one of the arms of Cage, when Cage is in that corner, I'm going, wait a minute now. Starks hasn't even been working on that arm like that. He should be working that for couple of more spots there. Like, he hasn't even done enough damage to even try to do what he's about to do. And then he does like this slingshot thingamajigger to Cage's arm, and I'm going, nah, you know what? That should have been a case where he tried to do that. Cage should have been able, just with that one fucking arm, you see him post workout videos and all that all the time, he should have been able to just, lift Starks up, as he's trying to hold on for his dear life. He's literally grabbing onto that one arm of Cage, and Cage is just pretty much doing a curl with fucking Starks and then just flinging his head. It should have went down like that. So yeah, the whole psychology of this, that's all I gotta say. Starks becoming the new FTW champion, that does not surprise me whatsoever. That does not surprise me. What also does not surprise me was seeing Taz out there and pretty much kind of drawing that line in the sand where he's essentially aligned himself with Hobbs, Starks, and of course his son Hook. That's FTW. And now you've got Cage that's pretty much on the outside there, right? And remember what Taz was saying all throughout commentating there. Oh, yeah, we got our differences, but after this is all said and done, it's going to be back to business as usual. Everything's going to be on the up and up. Everything's going to be good. It's going to be family as usual. But you notice right there, after the match had ended, with all of those shenanigans that went down there, right? You got Hobbs, who essentially helped Starks those final minutes there with a little bit of a distraction to help Starks pick up the dub and pick up that FTW championship. You notice how afterwards Taz is pretty much aligned with all of those guys I mentioned except for Cage, when if anything, if he was really, and this is here, it's very nerve-wracking when you really stop and think about this. And this could have been cleaned up. This could have been cleaned up very easily by the color commentators. But you would have thought that with what Taz was saying on commentating, at the end, Taz would have gone into the ring and Taz pretty much would have said to Cage, hey, it is what it is. Hook or by crook, it is what it is. Hey, you got to respect the game. You got to respect the hustle. It is what it is. And pretty much extend the handshake. Okay, all right, so are we done right here? This is pretty much it. And if you wanted to have Cage pretty much smack the hand away from Taz and walk out the ring, and then Taz and them, they're pretty much just looking on, and Taz is like, I give him an olive branch, fuck him. And they start celebrating. Okay, cool. All right, that's how we're pretty much going then, all right? But we didn't go in that direction. So for it to go in the direction of Taz just post-match, he's with Hobbs, he's with Hook, he's with Starks, just gloating over the fact that Starks became the new FTW champion, and they're all smiling and essentially heckling Cage in the middle of the ring. Would have been badass had you had one of the color commentators say, well, that's a bit inconsistent. What happened to Taz over here just now, who was saying, no matter what, it's family as usual. That doesn't look like they're extending that family olive branch to Brian Cage, does it? Would have been perfect. Just that little subtle touch. Sometimes it's that little fine attention to the detail just like that to really help bridge your audience members along there. But that came off very confusing, especially the way that match was booked. Look, both men, they went out there and they performed. So, I mean, when it's all said and done, these guys, these men and women, they're taking their direction and all that, and I respect that. But we got to kind of use a little bit of better common sense to a degree, to a degree where necessary. And it just kind of felt to me as if we could have used a little bit more logic going into this particular matchup, but it is what it is. Also, Moxley defending the IWGP United States Championship against Carl Anderson to open up Fyter Fest Dynamite Edition. Pretty good. I gotta admit though, look, for the opener, pretty good. Because I mean, look, it's Jon Moxley. We hadn't seen him in a couple of weeks. He's coming out to the new Wild theme and all that. Okay, good. But it was off to a rough start. I gotta be honest with you guys. I was seeing so many punches that were, oh man, that's meant for the face. So many forearm strikes that, oh yeah, that's meant for the face. But guess what? None of this shit was connecting. None of this shit was connecting. And look, I'm not going to put the blame on Moxley and Karl Anderson. I'm going to squarely put the blame on the camera guys. Because the camera guys, when they were going in on those strikes, man, less is better. Less is better. So just picture it. You got fucking Moxley and Anderson. They're just going in with the punches to each other's face and then the forearm strikes. And you got this ridiculous freaking zoom in. And clear as day, here's the face. And I apologize for those that don't, that are going to be listening to the audio version of this. But, you know, you guys that's watching the webcast, you know, you see my hand right now, right? So this is the face, all right? And here's the forearm, right? Now, obviously, you're supposed to go, wham, right here, right? No, it's not going like that. Clear as day when they do the zoom in, right here. So clear as day, and you just got the person, So, I mean, it was off to a rough start. First couple of minutes of that match. Shit was not connecting. Shit was not looking pretty. Again, not the fault of the wrestlers, putting that squarely on the fault of the camera guys. Because they did it more than once. Them camera guys did it more than once. Very fucking irritated. I don't like that. When I get shit like that in my matches, I'm really trying to get into it. You can take me out really quickly with that shit. It was not good in a okay, this should be a epic take no prisoners, oh, we're kicking ass here. It really did not have that brawl effect to it, personally. It really did. Now, I wasn't looking for some type of a street fight or anything like that, because again, this is for the IWGP Championship, and they pretty much were doing this match under New Japan rules. But if you've made your rounds checking out enough enough New Japan pro wrestling stuff, you know, you know that, okay, yeah, this is a pretty damn good match. Came off very, I can't find the right word for it, but very rough, very rough. I wish there was another word I could use besides rough, but it was pretty rough there. Average match. You know, it got back on track after a few minutes, but those first several minutes was just pretty rough, pretty fucking rough. Moxley retaining, backstage, Archer, and look, not for nothing, if I can actually defend Karl Anderson a little bit, I have seen enough of his stuff in New Japan. So, I mean, it's not like I've seen what both of these guys can do. So, all the matches on this card for Fyter Fest, that definitely was one match as far as, okay, what am I looking forward to the most? This was definitely one of them, and it didn't live up. It did not live up, in my estimation, to, you know, what I thought was going to go down. The hell with the fact that the match might have been 10, 11, 12 minutes, however long it was. It just, other than the name values of Moxley and then Anderson, it's like, average matchup. Now, backstage is where it got interesting. Archer was chatting it up with Jake Roberts, and he pretty much had a message for Jon Moxley. Hey, yo, pretty impressive what you've been doing as the IWGP Championship. I've seen some of the opponents that you have gotten successful title defenses over and everything, including what you just did there with Karl Anderson. But hey, remember, you and me, we squared up a year ago for that championship. And we had a hell of a fight. And you know what? We're here in Texas. Remember the match that we had? We had a Texas death match for that IWGP Championship. Since we're out here in Texas for the next couple of weeks, I challenge you for that IWGP Championship. Let's do it next week. What's up? So that should be pretty fucking good. I'm actually looking more forward to that than what we got here tonight. I don't think by any stretch we're going to even get a repeat of what we got tonight with Karl Anderson and Jon Moxley. That's just my personal. And once again, you know I already said it already, but congrats to Moxley and Renee once again on the arrival of their child. Awesome seeing all of this great love and affection that's in the air. 2021, I would have to say, 2021, not only has it been the year of, okay, we're getting over on this pandemic, but man, you know, when you really stop and think about it, so many people that maybe were supposed to get married last year, including myself, you know, we all pretty much had pushed it to this year. And so so many couples that's just doing awesome, cool things right now, man. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Shit, I would love things a lot more if my fucking wedding people that took the people that were in charge of the ceremony that got us married, they also had handled the photographs and all that. I still don't have my photos. I still don't have my photo set. I'm supposed to get like 150 photos. I still don't have my photo set for my wedding, which was a month and a half ago. And, you know, I'm patient, man. They said it was probably going to be about 6 to 8 weeks. You guys do the math. It's like, but everybody's getting married. Everybody's making up for what went down last year there, man. Everybody's making up. See, I'm just thinking if there was anything else that came into my mind. Oh, you know what? Hey, man, Adam Page and the challenge that came about to won a challenge for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Now, you know what? I got to give AEW mad props right here, because on last week's show, I talked about how, okay, you know what? That's great that we got the Dark Order coming to the Hangman's aid. Hey, solid. But you know what? From here on out, we got to have Hangman be the one to address Kenny Omega and that AEW World Championship head on. He's got to start standing his own ground here. We can't keep having Dark Order talking on his behalf and all that. Like, that twice is enough. Now let's see what this guy can do. And you know what? They hit it out of the park tonight with Hangman. Great shit. Great reaction for the Hangman. Great reaction for the Hangman. Take that. Take that, Thunderdome. Take that. Great fucking natural, real reaction for the Hangman. Loved it. Fucking loved it. Good shit. Seeing Kenny Omega, you know, try to wiggle his way out of not wanting to accept that challenge from Hangman, but then it morphs into an ambush where it looks like the numbers game is about to get the best of the Hangman, but then Dark Order comes out. So that was great how AEW had set that up. They let Hangman come out there head on to address Kenny Omega, but then you got Kenny Omega and the whole numbers game there. And I love the psychology, the additional psychology as far as the storyline, where you had one of the Bucks bring to the fact of mentioning to Hangman, hey, you know, remember, you left us. You know, you were part of the elite. You left us high and dry. Woo, smelling your breath. You're full of alcohol there, man. You stink, right? Like, I love all of that was going on. Good shit. Calling him the next wrestling tragedy. Oh, man, them fighting words right there. And sure enough, it was fighting words. So they made Page look very fucking strong. I got to give them mad props for that. And then to have the Dark Order afterwards come out while all chaos is breaking out, numbers game is maybe about to get over on Page. Good shit. And then to balance it out with Page saying, hey, you know, no, it was actually, I'm trying to figure out how they went about it there. I think it was actually from Team Omega. I think Team Omega might have, well, regardless, whoever did the challenge first, somebody puts the challenge out there, hey, our team versus your team. But then Page puts the stipulation out there, hey, when we beat your team, not only will I get a shot at that AEW World Championship, I'll also have my guys here in the Dark Order, they'll also get shots for those tag titles. So the whole Elite crew, they weren't really feeling that at first, but then Don Callis comes up with a pretty solid idea and says to them, no, let's do this. So Kenny Omega setting the tone here, saying, okay, you know what? You know, for a guy that has no championships, you're making a lot of demands, but you know what? I'm going to see you. I'm going to raise you. I'm going to match you. we're going to give you those little stipulations. But if and when you lose, peep this out. Your boys, the Dark Order, no tag shots. You, no title shot opportunity. You're done. You're going to walk away, and you're going to be able, up to this point, you're going to be able to tell your family all the cool things you were able to do in AEW, but that's pretty much it. That's going to be the end of the line for you. Hangman Adam Page accepting the terms. So, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's going to be going down Fyter Fest Night 2 for next week. Andrade, they did a nice, most likely it was a pre-produced segment, but Andrade, that was pretty solid what they did with him tonight. You see what I'm talking about? This is something, again, I've been an advocate for years, which has been, hey, utilize these men and women whose first language is not English, play to their strengths, and just do the best you can to have a combination of English translators and use English subtitle and or English actor voiceover for when people are watching in the live arenas and all that. And I liked what AEW did this week with Andrade. So they basically showed this backstage footage, and most likely it was pre-produced, you know, whether or not it was earlier in the day or whatever. But I like the fact that they had Andrade speaking in his native language. Some of the things that he was speaking in English, though, there was a heavy dialect to it, and they just threw up big, nice, white font size English text that lets you know what he was saying, and they kept it short. They kept it short to the point. All right, who is this? Okay, 5 W's. Who, what, when, where, why. Right? All right, who is this? This is Andrade. Okay, Andrade. Andrade, where are you? Okay, well, obviously he's somewhere, you know, on Dynamite grounds here. Okay. All right, Andrade, why are you talking right now? What do you want? Andrade wants to know about the Death Triangle. He's trying to find them. Okay, well, why is Andrade trying to find the Death Triangle? What's going on here? Curious minds want to know. Now, that part we didn't get an answer to. Maybe he has some type of a business proposition, you know, for them or whatever. But, and hey, look, real quick here. I got to give mad props to how AEW has been utilizing Andrade so far. They are essentially taking the weaknesses that was going on with him and trying to help get him over as a character in WWE, and they're really playing to the strengths. And this is just, it's a simple blueprint. It's a simple blueprint that every single wrestling promotion that means well by their talents, it's a simple blueprint that everybody should be able to get behind. And seriously, having Shinsuke Nakamura, for example, and Asuka, and you know, you could think of other names, and it's like, nah, man, let's just go ahead. Let's just play to their strengths, including when it comes to their native speaking language, and let's just play up to that and go from there. So that was pretty good how they did it. They kept it short, they kept it to the point, and that's how you do it. You should never, ever, ever have Andrade speaking his native language in the middle of that ring. Never, because he's gonna get heckled. Now look, he's a big boy, just like all the other men and women. He's a big boy. But if you want to continue to make sure that you're building up said wrestler properly and really build up to their strengths, then the last thing you need to be doing is having that wrestler whose English isn't on par. You know what I'm saying? And then they're probably going to get the what chance. They're probably going to, just heckle the hell out of the guy. It's going to be kind of their way of letting folks know that we're kind of bored with this segment, blah, 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 blah. Like, you don't need any of that. You don't need any of that. The guy that they got tonight to be the English translator too, same guy that's usually running around with Penta. So I thought that was kind of like a nice little connection that we had going on there. So good stuff. I'm seeing you, AEW. I'm seeing what you're continuing to do there with Andrade. You're off to a solid start. I'll give you that. You're off to a solid start. Don't particularly care about the in-ring debut match that he had. What was that? Last week or 2 weeks ago? But you're off to a decent start with him. Keep it up. Just think if there's anything else from Dynamite this week I want to mention here. Now I'm going to go to my show notes and just double check. Penelope Ford had in-ring action. I remember she was facing somebody. I know Britt Baker had cut a promo for Fyter Fest 2 where she was talking about taking on Nyla Rose for the championship. I do remember that much. Britt's coming along. Britt's doing pretty damn good. She's doing pretty damn good. And Bob Wilson and everybody else in the chat, I see everything that's being posted in the chat. Like, just, I appreciate you guys that's interacting with me and everything. Really, I do. But you don't need to spam out, every few seconds. Just take it easy and, wherever you want to make it count the most, that's good. But it's not going to be kind of one of those, I pause, every single time you say something, and it's not one of those type of shows. Now, if you guys really want to talk, you can definitely post a wrestling related question or a non-wrestling related question, and I'll definitely get to that a little bit later on in the show, without a shadow of doubt. But I do love the interactions that always come in from the shows, but I more care about when you guys are interacting with each other. I think that's where it's really cool, is when you guys are interacting with each other, and it's, it's not really so much about me, but then it kind of is about me, right? It's kind of one of those type of things. But anyway, just thinking if there was anything else that was going on there with Dynamite for this week. Jericho was backstage with Marvez, and they were talking about the 5 labors of Jericho. Jericho's message to MJF was that, no matter whatever the stipulations were, he's pretty much gonna get through all of these 5 labors. MJF just comes out of nowhere. By the way, I love the superhero reference, the Black Panthers, the Alis, the Supermans, whoever it is that MJF has lined up, he's gonna knock them all down. I did like that little reference right there. You know what? Jericho was missing one name out of all of that though. Right? Like, if you're going to mention those references there, how do you not fucking go with Loki? Jericho, come on, man. Like, if you're going to do a pop culture reference, go, especially if you're talking comic books, how do you not mention Loki, one of the hottest fucking series that's going on right there by Marvel? How do you not mention that? Like, I mean, especially just the season finale alone. The season finale had dropped earlier today, and I finally binged on all 6 episodes. I was waiting on the wife, but every single time, her work schedule. So I'm like, man, I got these days off from work. I don't go back to work till Thursday. I ain't got no classes until Thursday. Man, I'm gonna binge. So I binged. I began late last night, and I wrapped up probably by about, because I binged. I did all 6 fucking episodes. I was done by about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning today. I binged. And I was like, wow, a great fucking series. So it's like, come on, if you're going to do these pop culture references, it's like, definitely be on fucking point, man. Come on now. But good shit. MJF, Shawn Spears coming in there, beating the crap out of Jericho. Remember, he's got that left arm, that was in a cast there. It was in a little slingshot brace and all that. They did a little number on that yet again. And that pretty much was, the end of that. So now the thought going into your head, oh snap, what does this mean for Jericho going into this 5 pillars of Jericho thing? Is he going to come out of this on top? Because remember, he's got to get W after W after W. He's got to string all of them together if he wants to get to MJF. So what does it mean? What does it mean for Jericho? So you got that little thought going into your head on, okay, all right, he's going into this not fully at 100%. What's the deal right here? So that was a nice little spot right there with Jericho, preluding to that. That was pretty good. Just think if there's anything else. I don't think there was really anything else going on with, oh yeah, Matt Hardy, Christian. That was okay. That was not too shabby of a matchup. Kind of what I expected. You know, not saying anything negative, not saying anything good, but just, you know, very odd. I tell you what was really odd. Those first several minutes where they're just pretty much in the huddle, you know, and it's like, are you guys doing the cha-cha-cha? What the fuck is going on here, dudes? You know, like, seriously, it's like, you know, like, what the fuck is going on there? But, it was what it was. Other than that, Wheeler Yuta taking on Sammy Guevara. Now, this was pretty much just all about putting Sammy over, as far as I was concerned. Very short match. Yuka Sakazaki taking on Penelope Ford. That was the match that I was thinking about earlier. Yuka picking up the dub. It is what it is. Look, man, we got to do a better job. We got to do a better job when we're utilizing some of these wrestlers, especially people we ain't even seen before or we ain't seen in several weeks. You know, you want us to feel invested, we gotta get some type of a backdrop story. Give us something. You going into this match, give us some type of a profile or some shit like that, right? Give us more than just the guys trying to put the person over on commentating. We got to get a lot more than that. But that pretty much was Dynamite. Pretty strong episode, I would say, overall. Pretty solid. For night one, Fyter Fest, pretty damn good. No complaints from me whatsoever. Pretty damn good. So, that's AEW Dynamite. We got Fyter Fest Night 2. That's going to come about next week. Looking forward to that. As we continue on with the show, if there's something in addition, you know, as far as Dynamite goes, I'll bring it up. But there's nothing really right now that's coming to my mind that I want to say in addition to what we got tonight from night one. They really set the tone. Looking very forward to seeing what night 2 is gonna bring about. Speaking of which, the card for Fyter Fest night 2. Let me just pull that up real quick for you guys. All right, so let's see here. There we go. I got the card right here for night 2. So again, night 2 of Fyter Fest, we got Jon Moxley versus Lance Archer, Texas Death Match for the IWGP U.S. Championship. Britt Baker defending the AEW Women's Championship against Nyla Rose. Chris Jericho versus Shawn Spears. This is the first pillar for Jericho. And this first pillar, Spears can use a chair and Jericho cannot. And then we got Orange Cassidy taking on the Blade. And that's pretty much it right now. I'm sure as we get closer to next week, they'll have even more matches that's going to be announced. Hey, I want to take this time out. Thank those of you that's tuning in live right now, particularly. Please, if you guys have been enjoying yourselves so far, do me a huge favor. Don't cost you a thing. It's free. Make sure you hit that like button. Helps us out, pushes out the content more to the YouTube algorithm team. And as far as recommendations go and all that. And, you know, shout out to those of you that's going to be watching this on demand. Leave comments. I want to know what you guys have thought about Dynamite for this week. Shout out to our Patreon members, patreon.com/RCWR show. Going to be dropping some Patreon content this week for you guys. Definitely now that I've seen the new Loki series, I'll be sounding off about that. Got the Black Widow series, movie. I wish it was a series. Got the Black Widow movie that I'll be reviewing as well. That will actually be a free-for-all for everybody to check out. Friendly reminder, Nation's Capital, Washington, D.C., Friday, August 20th. Catch me at Awesome Con. I will not only be there as part of the press media, but I'll also be moderating and co-hosting a special panel, a special 90-minute panel. Again, on Friday, August 20th, Washington, D.C. Convention Center. Awesome Con. This is going to be my 4th year, consecutive year, covering the Awesome Con event. Always appreciate the good, kind folks over there at Awesome Con. They make me feel so good every time I come there and cover the event. If you ask me, one of the things that I'm looking forward to the most in covering Awesome Con, honestly, I'm looking forward to just seeing all the cool costumes that people are going to be coming up with this go around. I would imagine there's going to be a lot of Scarlet Witches, a lot of Visions running around. I would imagine there's going to be a lot of Spider-Mans. I would imagine there's going to be also... I already mentioned Doctor Strange, didn't I? Loki, that's the other name. I would imagine there's going to be a lot of Lokis running around. Walking Dead is usually popular, so I would imagine there's going to be that running around as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing all the cool, colorful costumes that the folks are going to be having. I'm also looking forward to just checking out Artist Alley, because that's the heart of Awesome Con. Artist Alley, seeing all the different kinds of artwork that people come up with. Just great. And then just getting in a nice side conversation chatter with folks, right? Just talking about random shit, cool shit at that. I'm looking forward to all of those things. So we're getting there. We're getting there, guys. One step at a time. We're getting there. So those are all the matches that I believe next week is supposed to also be the Team Omega taking on Team Hangman, but that really was not defined. If it was defined, then okay, then we got that too next week. Like I said, we got a whole week to go. That's enough of AEW. Let's talk, you know what? We'll talk NXT in a hot second. Let's talk Ring of Honor real quick. I want to go over some quick results. Now, this is probably where I'm going to lose a lot of people, because there's a lot of people that don't check out Ring of Honor, and that's kind of understandable. It's not a bad product. I just think it's a case where, as far as syndication goes, not everybody gets Ring of Honor, right? You know, you usually got folks, if it ain't AEW and it ain't WWE, I don't want to hear about it. And it's like, well, you're lost, my friend. Quick recap real quick here. So I did catch the, good news, bad news. I did catch the Ring of Honor last TV episode before they went into their Best in the World event from over the weekend. I gotta say, because it had been a good minute since I checked out Ring of Honor, and honestly, the reason why, of all the promotions during the pandemic, Ring of Honor just really seemed like a deer in headlights. And I think even the most purist, hardcore Ring of Honor fan would agree with me. So I felt very, very disengaged. It seemed like every time I turned around and I was trying to check out ROH, I was always seeing compilation matches. So it was like, okay, so we're good. We're good. I'm good, because some of this shit I've already seen. Quick notes from this past week's ROH TV show. Jay and Mark Briscoe, they are starting from the bottom, working their way back up to the top of the tag team division yet again. Jay and Mark Briscoe taking on Joe Keys, Dante, Cabrello. Pretty damn good tag match to open up ROH. So after last week's fight on the farm, the Briscoes, they got back together as Papa Briscoe demanded, and pretty much telling them, look, you guys, you got to get back at this, but you need to start from the top, from the bottom, work your way back up to the top. If that means you need to take on the youngest blue chippers of a tag team that's 0-0, then so be it. You need to go out there and you need to fucking get the job done. So Briscoe's looking pretty damn strong against Joe Keys and Dante Cabrello. Pretty good. Got pre-matchup comments from Flip Gordon, as the next matchup was, and this was actually one of my personal favorites. I actually wish this would have been the main event match for ROH TV, but it's all good. Flip Gordon, PJ Black. God damn, those guys. They tore it up. I love that. Great chemistry between both of those guys. I don't know if ROH, you guys got to forgive me because, again, I haven't checked out the product in a good minute. But I like their chemistry so much, I can't help but say, maybe we can do something here as far as these guys being a tag team, because this is pretty damn good. You know, what these guys can do. You know, it's hard to believe that PJ Black is 40 years old. He looks a lot older because of all that gray that's starting to come in. But, man, yeah, this was pretty damn good. Post-match, Gordon, you know, he had some comments there with Brian Johnson. And this was really funny because Brian Johnson was essentially taking shots at PJ Black all throughout this match against Flip Gordon. But then, like, when the match is over and everything, because Black tapped out. But see, you got to remember, fucking PJ Black and Brian Johnson, they were supposed to go into that weekend's Best in the World. And if I remember it right, when we get into the card in a hot second, they were supposed to take on the Briscoes. So Brian Johnson, not liking the fact that he saw PJ Black tap out, he gets in the ring because he's thinking that Flip Gordon is doing more insult to injury. He pretty much, you know, makes him retreat and everything. And he checks in on PJ Black and it's like, yo, you know, your head needs to be in check. You know, we got to get into the game going into this weekend. What's going on? But that was a pretty good match. Pretty damn good match up there. Let's see. The next one, main event match of the night. It was LF, Dragon Lee, Kenny King taking on the Foundations, Jay Lethal, Jonathan Gresham taking on Violence Unlimited, Brody King, Tony Deppen. Good main event match. Good fucking main event match. It's nice to see that Jay Lethal and Gresham are still a tag team. When I was checking them out regularly, that was one of the main attractions that caught my eye, besides the Briscoes. Brody King as well. Brody King had also caught my eye as well. So pretty good TV episode going into that pay-per-view weekend. Now coming up on this week's ROH, they got the Shane Taylor promotions. Shane Taylor, Taylor O'Shea, Edwards and Soldiers of Salvages, Mosses and Khan versus Khan versus the Foundation. And we also got Quinn McKay and Mandy Leon. They're gonna be in action. There's one more match I remember hearing, but it's not coming to my mind right now, so you guys got to forgive me. Now we had the ROH Best in the World, took place in Baltimore, Maryland. Man, pretty solid fucking card that we had got on here. Now, for some of you guys that maybe haven't checked out ROH yet, I won't spoil who won what, but just to give a quick rundown on those matches once again, listen to this. Brian Johnson and PJ Black taking on the Briscoes. Ray Horaz taking on Demonic Flamita. PCO and Danhausen versus the Bouncers. I can't believe the Bouncers are still a thing in ROH, man. Flip Gordon taking on EC3. Last man standing match, Josh Woods taking on Silas Young. Love Silas Young. Fucking badass. Jay Lethal taking on Brody King. Look, I haven't even watched this yet, but I will. I'm going to say that's going to be I already know it is. That's going to be like my ultimate number one favorite match of the card. ROH World Tag Team Championship match, Dickinson and Homicide taking on Williams and Titus. And remember, we've been talking about Homicide. We just talked about him last week on the NWA Power recap show that we did, because Homicide had appeared on NWA Power for the first time in several months. So nice to see Homicide bouncing around here again. ROH World Six-Man Championship match, Draper Castle ISOM versus Shane Taylor Promotions. ROH World Television Championship match, Dragon Lee faces Tony Deppen. ROH Pure Championship match, Mike Bennett taking on Jonathan Gresham. That should be a pretty damn good one as well. And main event match, ROH World Championship match, Bandito versus Rush. That should be a killer fucking matchup. So if I'm able to check that out by Friday, I will definitely sound off on it and let you guys know overall what I had thought about the pay-per-view. But going forward, ROH is definitely on the specifically on the free shows that we put out. I will be talking a lot more about ROH, especially now that, you know, they're getting ready to get back out. Actually, as of Best in the World, they have fans in attendance. So now that they're pretty much, all right, fans, come on back, I'm definitely going to be checking that out a lot more. Seems like they got a better grip now on, okay, this is what we need to be doing and all that. I mean, of all the promotions that was out there, they struggled the most during the pandemic as far as trying to figure out, all right, what are we doing here? NWA as well. They also were in that spot where they were like, okay, yeah, you know, what's going on here? So NXT, let's talk NXT. Pretty good NXT from yesterday, I would have to say. Main event match there between Johnny Gargano, Karrion Kross for the NXT Championship. Samoa Joe as a special enforcer, special referee. Good match. Good match. Here's the thing though. And I gotta be consistent. You just heard me scrutinize. Oh, by the way, I love how not one fucking person had said anything about ROH. Like I said, if you want to lose people, you want people to be silent, you know, kind of like do them like a little kid. You got the little kid in the back of the car, wah, 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 and it's like, eat a Twizzlers. Yeah. And you want to shut them up. Talk about something that they have no idea about. That usually... I gotta mention that because I know our listeners that check out the audio on demand and on the downloads. I know, you know, a decent amount of them, they do appreciate the talk of ROH. They actually love it when I bring up ROH because we actually got those that live out here in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. And usually from time to time, I'll get a DM or email. It's like, man, can you talk about ROH a lot more? I remember during the pandemic, it was like, yo, show some love, talk about ROH. I'm like, dude, they're not really doing shit right now. Like, come on. But good shit. No, I gotta be consistent. Just how I scrutinized, if you want to even use that word, but just how I scrutinized Ricky Starks, Brian Cage, I gotta put that same philosophy on Johnny Gargano, Karrion Kross. I mean, you're just looking at this match, and you're looking at fucking Johnny Gargano. You're looking at how tiny this guy is compared to Karrion Kross, right? You're looking at one of Johnny Gargano's arms, and it's half the size of Karrion Kross's thigh. Right? I mean, just really stop and think about that. And I'm supposed to legit believe that Johnny Gargano, Mr. Johnny Wrestling, is going to go into this and, boy, oh boy, I think I can, to Karrion Kross. The psychology for this was just, it's another one of those really, like fucking really, wasn't really liking it. Look, I did my best to put it to the side though. I really did. I tried to put it to the side, really get into this match and everything. And for what it was worth, it was okay. For me, the main question that I had in mind was, okay, something's going to happen here with Samoa Joe, because too many weeks now since he's been part of NXT, we've seen Joe do these mean mugging stare downs. He's mean mugging Kylie O'Reilly. He's mean mugging Adam Page. He's mean mugging Karrion Kross. He's mean mugging Pete Dunne. He's mean mugging the hot dog vendor. He's mean mugging the park and valet attendant. He's mean mugging the janitor. And you're like, okay, sooner or later, all this mean mugging that Samoa Joe's doing, somebody is just going to knock his ass silly. They don't give a fuck if he's going to kill him or not. He just mean mugging too many fucking people. Something going to happen here. So who's going to get to him first? And as I was kind of alluding to for a couple of weeks, I thought for sure we were going to get in a position where who shot JR? who ran over Stone Cold Steve Austin? I thought for sure we were about to get to that point, but no. Instead, what we get is post-match, Karrion Kross, Samoa Joe doing their nice little stare down, talking mad shit and everything. Samoa Joe giving it right back. I mean, Karrion Kross is putting it out there, but Joe's able to dish it out just as good as he's able to take it and everything. And the next thing you know, Samoa Joe turns around, Karrion Kross just chokes him from behind, and that pretty much ends the freaking show. You're going, oh shit. Well, safe to say this is like maybe our SummerSlam main event match or our TakeOver main event match. Like, I am amazed. I know there was an interview that Samoa Joe gave a couple of weeks ago where, and I talked about it here on the show, where he was saying, we'll get there as far as me getting back into the ring. Yeah, we talked about it. We got an idea. We're taking it one step at a time. But yeah, it's definitely going to happen. And I never questioned that. My mindset was, okay, October, November, maybe that's when this is going to go down. Hey, I don't mind being wrong. Seriously, I don't mind being wrong, but damn is all I got to say. I mean, we're just going there. We are just fucking going there. Look, the match between Karrion Kross, Gargano. Look, man, Gargano, all the joking aside, even if I felt how I felt about this match, psychology-wise, I can't even deny Gargano knows how to work with the best of them. Anybody that he needs to go in there and fucking put over, he will fucking shine in putting them over. It's not so much about him. It's more about what he can do for that other opponent that he's trying to elevate. And as far as I'm concerned, he did just that. I could fucking watch Gargano come out with a goddamn video game controller and he wrestles that. He will make that shit look entertaining. So I will definitely give it up to Gargano for that. He really made Karrion Kross come out of this looking like a true bona fide mega monster. Just this unstoppable demonic force. There's no stopping it. I mean, it, almost to a degree, reminds me of one of my favorite Marvel comic story arcs from back in the day when Onslaught came about and he was doing this thing. And I still remember that iconic page layout where Juggernaut pretty much defeated. I mean, Juggernaut got his ass handed to him. And he pretty much was on the doorstep of the X-Men Academy mansion and all that. And they're like, X-Men are coming like, Kane? Like, what are you doing here? And they pretty much take him to their little ER and everything. And Juggernaut is like, he's got tears in his eyes. He's actually sweating. I forgot how they eventually got the helmet off. I don't know if he helped them take his helmet off or what it was, or maybe if it might have been one of those cases where, he was so weak and all that they actually were. Because remember, his whole helmet, his powers, that's a whole mythical thing that he's got going on. It's a gem that pretty much gives him his powers and all of that other, however the fucking origin was, but that's not the point. But he was so petrified by what Onslaught did to him. I look at Karrion Kross as Onslaught in a nutshell. That's how I look at him. So Gargano did a pretty damn good job putting him over. So Kross, Joe, yeah, no shit, definitely on the horizon. Should be fucking epic. I would imagine a lot sooner rather than later. Now look, remember what I said from last week. There's a couple of scenarios here you can go with. You can either go with scenario one, Karrion Kross put his hands on a authority figure. As a result of that, he is fined heavily, and maybe you could say he's suspended for a couple of weeks. You could definitely go that route, or you could go the route where William Regal is getting ready to make a bomb shocking piece of announcement where he goes, the despicable actions of what went down with Karrion and Kross, it's unacceptable. And as a result of that, I have no choice, but I'm going to suspend Karrion Kross. And on top of that, I'm going to strip him of the NXT championship. The Samoa Joe maybe come out and say, whoa, pump the brakes. Hey, I would definitely love to see you do that and everything, but nah, that's not how we're going to do it. Remember, unless I'm physically provoked, I can't. And hey, I was provoked. How about this? One night only. Let me go out there and let me kick Karrion Kross's ass. Now, my whole thing is, do you let that be for the NXT championship, or is this going to be a non-sanctioned match? Where pretty much anything goes. They can do whatever to each other, right? So, going to be interesting to see how they lay this out for next week. Other stuff that went down on NXT kind of caught my interest, was pretty good. I definitely want to give it up to the lovely ladies, Casey Catanzaro, my girl Kaden Carter, taking on the Robert Stone brand there. Pretty good. So, look, obviously Shotzi Blackheart, she's been promoted. So she's now on SmackDown. And pretty much in exchange, as we saw on NXT this week, Mandy Rose is now running around there in NXT. So, it's like, okay, so what does this mean for Dana Brooke? Like, seriously, what does this mean for Dana Brooke? Your guess is as good as mine, but I tell you what, look, you guys know, as I've been very consistent about this over the years, I don't like seeing people lose their jobs. I don't like seeing people lose their jobs. I don't call for somebody, very seldom do I call for somebody to lose their job. This person should be fired. Very, very seldom you'll hear me mention stuff like that. Because my mentality is people get themselves fired. And the only way you can get yourself fired is when you don't do your job. When you don't do what you're supposed to do at your job. That's how you get yourself fired. So, but Dana Brooke, man, you talk about somebody that has had opportunities after opportunities after opportunities after opportunities. You just can't help but go, okay, you know what? I don't really know, man. I don't really know. Maybe we should go in another direction here. 32 years old, going to be 33 later this year. And if you were to tell me she's been in the WWE for almost a decade, I would say to you, yeah, that's about right. So, I mean, just really stop and think about that. This girl's been in WWE for almost a decade. And yet there is nothing that is of substantial gravitas, that is of substantial, hey, remember when Dana fill in the blank? That was exciting. That was memorable. That was, you feel me? And you just go, I was chatting it up with a few people in the Discord, and they were going, because I said to them, I said, look, let's have Dana Brooke go back to NXT. Or hell, she could be the new face for the Sour Patch Kids commercial for all I fucking care. And let's bring up Cameron Grimes, or let's bring up LA Knight. And people were like, no, Lee, you're wishing death on some of our favorites. No, let's just keep them right where they are. It's like, you want to get rid of Dana Brooke that bad, you want to send her somewhere else. Look, we'll give you Walter. Take Walter in exchange of Dana Brooke, and we'll call it a day. I'm going, yeah, I like Walter. Sure, I can do something with Walter. Give me Walter and Brock Lesnar. That should be an epic fucking joint. Give me that. That should be solid. Give me Walter and Damian Priest. I don't know what's going on with Keith Lee, but Keith Lee, Walter, that'd be pretty fucking epic. Bobby Lashley, Walter. Man, Walter just makes just about everything taste so damn good, man. You really stop and think about it. But yeah, that for me. So Mandy Rose in this position now, or I don't know what the hell was going on with her on NXT. It seemed as though she was scouting talent or whatever. But then Taya Valkyrie comes to the scene, and I mentioned this in the chat, but I definitely want to highlight it again here, and really kind of, maybe I'm overanalyzing, but is it just me, or does it seem as though WWE really likes to showcase the hell out of men getting some type of physical abuse handed to them at the hands of women? I just have seen in recent memory so many instances where men are being assaulted by women. And look, yeah, no shit, storyline. But I'm saying just really take a step back and think about this, right? It's just so... I don't know, for me, sometimes it just gets a little nauseating, And I see what's going on, for example, with Robert Stone. You watched NXT this week, you see after Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter, they had beat up Aaliyah and whatever the name of the other girl was there, but, of the Robert Stone brand. You see Aaliyah there, she's pretty much like, I'm done with this. And she just start fucking, she beat the shit out of Robert Stone as if he was sleeping with her best friend and they were in a marriage or some shit like that. She was beating his ass bad. I don't know. Sometimes I just look at these instances and I just say to myself, man, we sure are seeing a lot of these guys. And I'm just talking WWE. The other promotions they've been doing, but there seems to be this blueprint with WWE sometimes where it's like, oh, well, we'll just have this guy get his ass beat around, slapped around by these women, and that'll get the people talking. And I think about James Ellsworth. I think about, to a degree, Hornswoggle, Reginald. Hell, Vince McMahon has taken a few, over the years. You got Robert Stone in there as well. And I'm sure if we were to just really sit back and just for about 10 minutes, just really think about, yeah, actually got a good point there. So, and overall, what is the point that I'm making? Like, kind of, what are you getting at, Lee? What are you trying to say? Do we really need to keep going to the well for that is my question. That's my only question. Do we have to keep going to the well every single time we are trying to essentially put over a male performer that is lesser than a typical pretty solid average WWE male superstar? Do we have to constantly put this inferior male talent in a position where they are always being beaten up by a woman? Not to get too philosophical, too deep on y'all asses, but considering the fact that during this pandemic, spousal physical abuse has significantly been on the rise because motherfuckers weren't able to go out to their jobs. They either lost those jobs or, they were at home doing their shit remotely. Alcohol consumption increased dramatically as well. People that normally would not make the time or day for relationships were now utilizing the hell out of social dating apps. You feel where I'm getting at with all of that? So, that's just me. Think about that. Not to get too deep on you guys, but just think about that. And maybe you connect the dots a little bit. You kind of feel where I'm talking about. But yeah, let me know. Let me know what you guys think about that. But Carter and Catanzaro, I'm liking them. I'm liking them. They seem to be the next tag team that is maybe being primed up for that position of, I could honestly, if there was a tag team that, these girls. Yeah. JC Kamiya is who I was thinking about. I was thinking about Aaliyah there. That it was Jesse Kamiya. I was beating the shit. Actually, was it Jesse or was it No, it was Aaliyah. It was Aaliyah that was beating the shit out of fucking poor Robert Stone. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, see what else had happened. Oh yeah, the breakout tournament first round. Duke Hudson taking on Ickman Euro. I'm pretty big on that Duke Hudson. But yo, that music, I'm not sure what's going on with that music. That music is not matching up to what I see of an excellent wrestling specimen of a man. Yeah, that music, yeah. I was expecting him to come out to some type of Hunter Hearst Helmsley bullshit, some type of Wade Bear, something England-ish or from wherever the fuck he's from. I was expecting something like that to come about. That music he had going on, that was just, yeah. It was kind of one of those fucking things. But great fucking look. He reminds me a lot like fucking Wade Barrett. A lot. Guy's got great size. Great fucking look. I think he could definitely go all the way. Definitely. And he's from Australia too. That's the funny part. Because like when you first look at him and you hear him talking and all that, you go, but he's actually from Australia. So again, the music doesn't quite match up to him. But I love this dude. I really do love this dude. I remember hearing some of the other names from the breakout tournament, and I remember seeing them being introduced, but Duke Hudson, that's the guy I just said, yeah, him. That's the one. And I really looked at it from the standpoint of who's the guy everybody should have their eyes on. But then I also looked at it from the standpoint of, if you were to start up a wrestling promotion and pretty much off the break, you got to have a guy that's going to be your inaugural champion. Who do you want? And I don't know about you all, but I gravitated towards Duke Hudson. So, yeah, I'm curious to see. Look, not everybody needs to go to the NXT UK division wing, as far as I'm concerned. A guy like Duke Hudson, I think, would just do phenomenal on just the American NXT, and then maybe eventually you move him up and everything to one of the flagship shows. We'll see what happens with that, but yeah, he's pretty damn good. I like him. He's pretty damn good. I got to see the rest of the guys, but that's my guy that can go all the way. I'm not quite ready to pick a dark horse just yet. I think I would only pick a dark horse if Duke Hudson got eliminated pretty damn early. The LA Knight, Cameron Grimes, Butler segment there. Cameron Grimes showing up for his first day of work. Hilarious. Comedic fucking gold. Loved it. Fucking loved every minute of it. Dexter Lumis taking on Santos Escobar. Pretty good. Pretty good matchup. Lumis defeating... Was it Lumis? Did Lumis defeat Escobar? I'm trying to think. What happened right here? No, Escobar had defeated... Escobar had defeated Lumis right here. Yeah. Footage is shown from earlier in the day when Kyle O'Reilly sat down for an interview with Wade Barrett. He talked about the fact that, unfortunately, losing, that's part of the game. That was the case last week when he took on Adam Cole. He talked about now he's not sure if he needs his soul back, something along those lines. Talks about he needs to get his groove back, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to finish Cole once and for all. So obviously, these guys not done just yet. I brought it up last week. I'm going to double down on it again. I think the direction that we're going in right now is most likely loser leaves NXT. It just kind of feels like that's the direction we're going. Maybe as early as TakeOver weekend, SummerSlam weekend is maybe where all of this is going to collide, come to a head. Have to wait, see how that pans out. But that's my 2 cents from a distance on that one. Let's see, what else? Just thinking about off the top of my head, other stuff. Escobar had a run in there with Hit Row. Yeah, because Escobar was talking mad shit about Isaiah Swerve Scott. So to eventually see those guys lock up should be pretty damn good. Let's see. Gigi Dolan taking on Saray. Okay match. Okay matchup. You know, I know right now the big pet project, it's all about Saray, you know, getting her over and everything. Dolan looked pretty rocked. I gotta say, she looked pretty damn rocked. Hopefully she's all right. I mean, haven't heard anything about her, but some of the spots in that match looked pretty damn stiff from Saray to Dolan. So hopefully she's okay. But was okay. Was pretty good. What I had saw there. I'm not quite with this Gigi Dolan character. Look, I know what she was doing on the independents and all that, and I mean, honestly, what she was doing, I think this is going to be a really telling tale when it's all said and done, because what Gigi was able to do on the independents, which pretty much was all about shock and awe, right? It was all about the Priscilla Kelly is who I'm talking about, by the way. You know, it was all about the shock, the awe, the sensationalism of certain spots in her matches. You know, it's kind of sad that when you bring up the name Priscilla Kelly, you know, one of the first things you bring up is, oh, Tampon Girl. And you guys have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. Google's your best friend. But there's been some crazy shit that she's done over the years that, you know, and you just go, wow, so you gotta pretty much do this just to essentially get yourself over. It's like, but now that we are taking away all of those elements and, you know, it's pretty much all stripped and, okay, all right, we got a blank canvas here in WWE. Let's see what we can do here. There's not a lot of substance. So I'm most curious to see, you know, what's going to happen. How is she going to rise to the cream of the crop here? Because honestly, no bullshit, and I mean this in no disrespect, it's no shade whatsoever, but 2 cents from a distance right now, she comes off like a light version of Peyton Royce. Convince me differently otherwise, but that's how she's coming off right now. It's like, okay, you just basically traded in a Peyton Royce for, or, you know, whatever you want to say, our earlier version or what have you. That's just how it's coming off right now. So, but it's still early. Let's see what happens. Let's give it a couple of more weeks. Let's see what happens in about a month or two. You know, we'll circle back again, but just first impressions, and I'm usually pretty on point with first impressions. That's where I'm at right now with her. That's where I'm at right now. Let's see. Other than that, I'm just thinking if there's anything else. Tyler Russ, Bobby Fish, they went at it. Bobby Fish picking up the dub there. Look, that whole Diamond Mine thing, not working. Not fucking working. I'm just not feeling it. I've tried my best to get into this. I think one of the major problems that's coming about with Diamond Mine, and you want to just talk about great exposure, by the way, and I mean that in the most bad way. You know, you're seeing Diamond Mine there, and fucking Bobby Fish. No, Roderick Strong. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about Roderick Strong. You know, even though you got Bobby Fish now locked in here with Diamond Mine, I just feel that it's still flatlined. And when I particularly look at, okay, we got these stables, we got this Diamond Mine. Roderick Strong is the leader here. He's the leader of this group of unknown guys, essentially. And, you know, why should we care about these guys again? Give me a friendly reminder. Why should we care about these guys again? You feel where I'm coming from? And Roderick Strong is coming off, at least in the WWE universe, he's coming off not as the right lead guy. It almost feels like an exact replica of what we experienced with Retribution. Exactly like Retribution. The only major difference, Mustafa Ali, say what you will, but Mustafa Ali had more in-ring personality than what's coming about from Roderick Strong. This whole Diamond Mine has just been a fucking bust. I like some of the ideas that other people were putting out there when Diamond Mine was first being teased. Some people felt, oh, hey man, maybe CM Punk. What was another name that people were throwing around? Some people thought maybe Diamond Mine essentially meant Tessa Blanchard and all that. Like, okay, I see where you guys are coming from. But, yeah, it's just, I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. I know you guys are trying too, but this shit ain't clicking. It is not clicking whatsoever. They got to put this out of his misery already. It's just not going anywhere. Personally, it's just not going anywhere. Let's see. Other than that, oh yeah, that was a good opener. Yeah, I almost forgot about that one. Dakota Kai taking on Amber Moon. Those girls, they tore it up. Pretty hard hitting matchup. Nice, good back and forth. Pretty good. Pretty damn good. Yeah. I'm playing the match back in my head. Yeah, pretty good. And then to get the size differential between there post match where freaking Xia Li comes out and she's getting in the face of Raquel Gonzalez. And again, it's the fucking theme yet again. You know, we just talked about Brian Cage, Ricky Starks, and then we talked about Johnny Gargano, Karrion Kross, and now we got it yet again here with Raquel Gonzalez and Xia Li. And you gotta go, if you haven't seen NXT yet, you gotta just pull up the picture. There's like screenshots and all this floating around. Well, Xia Li pretty much toe to toe with Raquel Gonzalez, and you're going, really? Raquel is supposed to be intimidated in some fashion by this chick? Like, really? Should be a good match though. Look, definitely should be a good match. That's all said and done. Should definitely be a good match. Other than that, pretty solid NXT. Let's talk ratings. AEW Fyter Fest Night 1. I'm gonna say AEW does about 888,000. NXT ratings. I don't think NXT ratings are out yet. I didn't see anything. Doesn't mean it's not already out there. But if I were to give a projection, I'm gonna say 700. And let me write this down real quick here. Let me pull up my notepad here. All right, so AEW, I'm gonna say 888,000 for this week. NXT, I'm gonna say 741,000. AEW 888,000 for this week. NXT 741,000 for this week. So I'll post those numbers on social media, and then once the official numbers come in, I'll definitely give you guys my thoughts on that. Other than that, a couple of little headlines. Just thinking of like anything else kind of noteworthy that's been going on since we were last on the air with you guys. Kind of relatively quiet. Impact Wrestling, they're going to be doing their thing with Slammiversary this weekend. And there's a stipulation that's been added to the main event match for the world title match. Very interesting stipulation. So this basically went about in storyline at Sami Callihan's request. Callihan had posted a video on Tuesday where he issued a challenge to Kenny Omega to make the match a no disqualification match. Callihan said that he wanted the stipulation so that Omega's cohorts, the Elite, couldn't cause a DQ to help Omega retain his title. He challenged Omega to accept the stipulation and be the best, the best bout machine, or become the best bitch machine. And soon after, Impact announced the stipulation had been agreed to. So yeah, that's what's going on with that. So that should be, look, Sami Callihan, Sami Callihan is going to have the numbers game at his disposal. Not for nothing, but have you guys seen the photos that's been floating around of Ken Shamrock, 57 years old, man, still got a kick-ass ripped up body. Remember one of the last times we had saw Ken Shamrock too, he was still partnering up there with Sami Callihan. They still got that alliance going. So that's definitely one guy you'd like to believe, okay, yeah, if anybody's going to definitely have Callahan's back, it's going to be Ken Shamrock. But is that going to be enough going into this weekend Slammiversary? We're going to have to wait and see how that plays out. Other than that, other interesting news. I don't know how far this is going to get, but Tammy Sytch, Sunny, she's trying to trademark the name Sunny. Just Sunny. So apparently last week, Tammy Sytch had filed basically for a trademark, for the name Sunny with the trademark office. She's trying to just use that name. And I mean, of course, she's trying to capitalize off of that run she had in the WWE and everything. And I don't know. I don't know if she's gonna, or if WWE is maybe gonna do something here. But when you look at the application that was applied for it, the trademark, as far as the synopsis, trademark is for entertainment services, namely providing professional wrestling and sports exhibitions, shows, and performances by professional manager, wrestler, referee, promoter, commissioner, and entertainer, rendered live and through all forms of broadcast media, including television and radio, and via the internet or commercial online services. So I can't help but wonder if WWE is gonna try to somehow fight this, or if they're just gonna be like, you know what, fuck it, just, yeah, whatever, Just thought I'd pass that along. Look, she's trying to do that. Can she just stay out of trouble? That's the thing. Can she just stay out of trouble? Speaking of trouble, I do want to talk a little bit more about Jimmy Uso, but we're going to do that on Friday's RCWR show for you guys. Again, that's going to be on Friday's RCWR show. So quick programming notes. Friday, I'll be back live with you guys after SmackDown goes off the air. I don't think by the time, matter of fact, let me look at my work schedule real quick, because I'll be able to tell you guys, because I know we're going to do a show Friday. I just don't know if I'll have enough time to check out SmackDown. So let me see here. Pull up the schedule here. Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, that should not be a problem. Okay, yeah. So I will be on immediately after SmackDown goes off the air, and I will be able to talk about in its entirety SmackDown, at least the key points that caught my interest. I'll be able to talk about SmackDown. We'll talk a lot more about the Jimmy Uso arrest. It's another layer that's added into this mix, and we definitely got to talk about the Naomi side of things, because Naomi has come under great scrutiny, unfortunately, guilt by association, basically. So I'll sound off about that. We'll also go over the I'd go over the cards right now for Slammiversary and all that, but we can do that on Friday's show, and we'll go over the predictions and all that. You guys got a nice regular size episode for what it's worth for tonight. See, also, if you guys get any questions, what I'll do, I'll post a thread probably on YouTube and on Facebook. And if you guys got some non-wrestling related questions you want me to get into, then we'll have that nice little thread for that. Otherwise, you can just, while we're live on the air, you can pretty much just post there. Okay? Other than that, yeah, stick a fork in it. DONE done. As you guys get ready to make your exit, you haven't done so already. Dudes, why haven't you all told me that the entire fucking time? Oh my God. The entire fucking time. Oh my God. I am so sorry, guys. Why didn't any one of you guys tell me? Man, some of you guys, I love you all, but you guys are more into getting your comments over, and not one person said to me, Lee, you've got the wrong template on your stream. Now think about that. Think about that for a second. God, that fucking sucks. I apologize for that, guys. I totally apologize for that. Hang on here. Oh, man. That fucking sucks. And sadly, with YouTube and the way YouTube works and everything, sadly, bear with me a second here. Give me not that one. Give me this one. Yeah, sadly, the entire show, it's now in the books, you know? Please, I can't stress it enough. When you guys tune in live, if you know on Mondays and Wednesdays you're supposed to be getting just particular, you know, because you guys should know the deal by now. When it comes to the NWA shows, we do those on Tuesdays, and we have the NWA. You notice we don't talk usually NWA on Wednesdays. So if you guys tune in live usually on Wednesdays, and you know he's going to be talking NXT, he's going to be talking, you know, I really need you guys, you know, don't be so content on getting your comments over. You know, I like reading what you guys are saying, especially if it, you know, it's a very valid point about what I'm talking about. But rather than try to get your comments over and be acknowledged like your tribal chief, you know, if you're noticing something that's kind of weird, like I got to give it up to, I think it was Nate. Nate's a sweetheart. Every single time he notices that the stream is maybe disconnecting from one place, he gives me a friendly reminder to let me know, you know, hey man, the stream's, something's going on over here. And for the most part, I'm able to do something quietly. Or it's a case where, you know, everything's good at my end. Maybe it's just a Twitch issue or whatever. So I can't do everything by myself when it comes to doing these shows live. So I need you guys to be my eyes and ears. If you're noticing something weird with a graphic, right? I mean, just, you know, hey Lee, you know you got this graphic going on. Just say that, and I'll definitely I appreciate that. We got to look out for each other, man, because the last thing we want to do is have our audience that are coming in watching something on demand, you know, they clicked on something and then they're seeing something else that's entirely different. You feel where I'm coming from? So we got to look out for each other. That's all I'm saying, man. All right, stick a fork in it. DONE done. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. Those of you that's going to be checking this out on demand, and you made it up to this point despite the fact that we put up the wrong goddamn graphic. Much love. Appreciate you guys. Don't worry, we'll have this all nice and straightened out on the next show. I definitely promise you guys. But until next go around, please be safe and be kind to one another.